Yo, 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 yo. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? I'm Tony Tone, and this is the Sony Alpha One. It's the one, baby.
Let's ride.
Yup, I got it. It's the Sony Alpha One. Check it out. Check her out. Look at this. How amazing is she? Look at that. All that camera goodness all wrapped up into one body. It is the all-out camera for everything that you need for your photo/video needs. It's the one. But I'm not here to talk to you about the features. You've seen all the reviews, and they are very good ones. I'm here to talk about the price. Does this camera cost too much? It is a lot of money. It is not chicken feed, but it is a lot of camera. $6,500, but for what it can do, it is incredible. $6,500, feature packed, and worth every penny. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is not really the price, not with me anyway. It is a lot of money, for sure. It is a whole lot of money. $6,500 is not chicken feed. $7,000 with tax. The issue is not with me, but with these YouTubers, these reviewers saying that it is too expensive. It is too much money. Okay, let's go with that notion. It's too much money. If that's the case, then why wasn't that a big complaint about the Canon 1DX Mark III? Why wasn't that a big complaint about the Nikon D6? Yeah, the reviewers, they mentioned it, but it was a sort of a by the way type of thing. Oh, by the way, the camera does cost a lot of money. Now let's go to the features, right? But with the Sony, for some reason, it's everything you want in the camera, everything you might need and more, but it's too expensive. Why? Why? I think the reviewers, the YouTubers, the vloggers, whatever you want to call them, I think they're too hard on it. As a matter of fact, don't take it from me. Go check out some of these popular YouTube influencers and see what they said about the Canon 1DX Mark III and see what they said about the Nikon D6. And then watch their videos when they reviewed the Sony A1 and watch what they said about the price. You'll see for yourself. It's pretty drastic. It's a pretty big difference. There is some sort of implicit bias that's going, and call me a fanboy or whatever, I don't care. I'm talking what I know. I'm talking what I've seen, and you can see it too. Just do what I said. Just watch their videos and you'll see. There is when it comes down to Sony, there is an implicit bias going on. But you may say, okay, no, the 1DX Mark III it is an older camera, and for its time, the price justified it. Excuse me? The 1D Mark III came out in 2020. The D6 came out 2020. That was barely 1 year ago. So what is it? Am I a fanboy? And I'm not really justified in my accusal of implicit bias? Okay, fine. Then let's compare this not to the R5, because that's a different camera for a different set of reasons, which I don't want to get into right now. Let's talk about strictly the price versus price. $6,500 versus $6,500. All I'm familiar with on the Nikon is the D6. I'm just familiar with their price. I don't really know that camera too well, so I won't mention it too much more than what I've just done. But I do know about the 1DX Mark III. Let's compare that camera price to price. It's only 1 year old, and there have been many reviews comparing cameras of now versus a camera that was a year old. In fact, they do it all the time. So I'm going to do that now. $6,500, and when that camera came out, the 1DX Mark III, there were raves about it. And I might add, rightfully so. The 1DX Mark III is a hell of a camera. Nobody can deny it. It is an excellent camera. But number one of the big complaints about the Sony Alpha One is the lack of a flippy screen. It has the, what do you call it? It's not a vlogging camera. Well, yeah, it's not a vlogging camera. So therefore, it's no need for a flippy screen. Nobody's paying this much money is going to use this as a vlogging camera. Or no, if they are, it's not like they should. There are other cameras made for that. You don't want a $6,500 camera to be your run and gun type of camera. No, you want to use this in a professional capacity. That's number one. Number two, on the flippy screen anyway, what does the 1DX Mark III have? Oh, it has a flat surface. No kind of articulation whatsoever. No kind of flip out whatsoever. You said poo about that. Number two, in-body image stabilization. Sony Alpha One is not as good as its competitors. Never mind the fact that they have the gyro information. It's too much work. Okay. Never mind they have the active stabilization. It's better, but there's a crop and it's not as good. Okay. The 1DX Mark III has no IBIS whatsoever. None. But for the A1, it's a problem. Number three, 30 frames per second versus 20 frames per second. But you say, hey, the A1, that's not really true. It does get 30 frames per second, but that's only with some lenses, and that's only with certain cards, blah, blah, blah. Nonsense. I have my old 24-70 G Master lens that doesn't have the linear focus, mode, and I achieved 30 frames per second on that camera. But to be fair, there are some conditions. If you use a third-party lens, you won't get 30 frames per second. You'll only get about 15 to 18 frames per second. That's true. That's true. And with native lenses, you only get 20 frames per second. Well, isn't that what the 1DX Mark III achieves? So it's still as good, if not better. It's at least as good as the 1DX Mark III, but that's what you complain about. Number four, electronic shutter. Yeah, you get 30 frames per second, but only with the electronic shutter. Mechanical, you only get 10 frames per second. True. But think about it. Why is mechanical shutter better than electronic shutter in the first place? Two reasons. Number one, you cannot shoot flash with electronic shutter. Now you can. The Alpha One allows you to shoot flash with the electronic shutter, so that's not an issue anymore. Number two, in silent mode electronic shutter, you get severe banding sometimes in when you have the flickering lighting. Yeah, but again, the Alpha One, you can adjust the frame rates to the exact point where you don't get the banding anymore. Completely silent. So with those two things in mind, I think the Sony is approaching the paradigm where mechanical shutters are the thing of the past. In fact, you can use this camera for its entire lifetime solely on electronic shutter, and you'll never need the mechanical shutter. Therefore, 30 frames per second is still achievable with this camera, and that is what it's designed to do. It's still much more competitive than the 1DX Mark III. But the point is, I'm comparing the two cameras only because I'm making the point that the price point is the issue. But when you're dealing with another camera with the same price point, you don't have an issue. In any case, this camera is for me. No, I'm not a super professional, but I wanted it. I can afford it, and I got it. It did hit the pockets, though. I gotta admit, it did hit the pockets, and I'm not gonna be buying a whole lot of stuff anytime soon. But I got what I want, pretty much, at this stage of the game. And when I need something else, I'll save up and I'll get some more. But this camera, this is the one. I'm Tony Tone. I'm out. But remember, you can't be better by being the same. Peace. Alpha, baby.